we are at step 3, and I'm going to lay in the initial watercolor washes. And what I want to do first is spray my watercolors. These are Cheap Joe's American Journey watercolors, and they melt fairly quickly. It's a little teeny spray bottle, comes in handy in the field. So what we want to do is, as I recall, that sky out there that day was a little bit overcast, really kind of a pretty sky. So I start with a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of burnt sienna, here like this. What we're going to do is get a little wet and wet technique. So I'm going to come across that little bit of water here, wetting it so I can get the effect that I want. Like that. Then I'll lay in a little bit of the sky like this. Basically a overcast, rainy sky. Just leave that alone. Now, what I'm aiming for here is I'm trying to fill in basically the general areas of the painting. Like here we have some green pine-like trees. Up here on the left, down here we have sand, here we have ocean. So I'll lay in the basic colors starting off right away. Now, while this is wet up here, I simply want to go to another area of the painting and paint there. We're giving this a chance to dry up here. So right now, I'm going to come in here and paint the sand area, using a nice little flat brush. Very handy because it moves a lot of paint fairly quickly. Then let's get it a little bit darker here. Like that. Doing that while I'm messing around with that, I might as well go up here and get in some of these cliff areas. So what I want to do is come in here like this. Now I'm going to, as I'm painting, I'm picking up other colors to vary the color as I move along. This little piece here I got a little too low, so I just pull that off with a paper towel. I can even mix in a little of my sky color there as I go across. So I'm varying the colors. I can come in here with different brown. This is burnt sienna with a little ultramarine blue. Coming in here with burnt umber. Like that. Might even want to add a little orange for flavor there. Okay, I got the start on that. While I'm doing it, let's go over here and get these guys going. Colors get a little thin, so I come in and pull in a little more color. Not quite enough yet. Something like this. Okay. Still not dry up here, so I'm not going to go up into the trees just yet. using my paper towel to clean my palette off real quick. So I'm going to go in and this time I'm going to pick up some, let's see, sap green and a little bit of phthalo blue. And very important, add a touch of red to dull it down so it looks like actual sea color. Adding more water to make it thin because I don't want it to be too dark at this stage, so I can come in and put some darker waves in later. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to paint this area right here down to the top of this crashing wave foam, and we'll do it like this. I'm going to remind myself to leave some white areas as I'm doing this for later. You'll find that there's usually some foam around the edges of these cliffs as they come down. The water hits it and stirs up a little foam. There. So I got basically my background sea color, my underpainting in there, and I'll come in later and do a little more with it. Okay, it's starting to get pretty dry right up here. So ideally in a watercolor you paint from back to front. The sky is the furthest back, you paint that first, and then top to bottom and everything goes right. But practically you move around because you need to wait for it to dry. Cleaning my palette one more time. Switching to my nice pointed Da Vinci Maestro brush. Going to take off and start doing the trees. So I'm mixing some sap green, adding to one side of the puddle a little phthalo blue to cool it down. Sap green is kind of a warm color. Putting some ultramarine blue down here to cool it down in a slightly different way. Adding some bright yellow in another spot, so I have actually about 4 different little pools that are kind of mixing together here all at once. Put a little red up here, so I've got my colors going ahead of time, so as I move across I don't have to be mixing all the time. I can just dip in those other colors. Now, this is pine trees, and they come down to an area of kind of like bushy greens down in here. So, I come up here, start filling it in. This is where having a nice point on your brush helps. Helps you hit it the way you want to. If I'm coming in with quite a bit lighter color, then I rinse my brush out in water, hit the sponge to take most of the water out of it. Come down with a variation on that. And also add a touch of red up there for good variety. So I'm working my colors, varying my colors as I go, mixing them on the paper. I do that by adding in different colors to the wet color that's already there. I'll come in later and define those much better, those trees. always thinking about how can I vary it the next time, make it work. And keeping in mind this is going to dry a lot lighter than it looks right now. Well, not a lot, but enough that most people can notice the difference. That's okay, you just have to plan on that. Got a little pool at the bottom so I don't put my hand in it or it doesn't run the way I don't want it to, just to pull a little of that. What I do is I take the color and water out of my brush by hitting a damp sponge, and that allows it to act like a mop pen and pull them up. So we have a couple other spots to do. Got some green right up here, the top of that area right there. Okay. Now I'm grabbing a tissue, regular old tissue, and just got it a little darker than I wanted up here, so just pull a little bit of that out, and then we'll be able to paint over that down here. Now in the meantime, what I'm going to do before I get to this step, I'm going to duplicate what I did here down here, because here I want to show you how I will take this scene further to complete my sketch. So that looks, let's put one other wash in. Okay, let's excuse me a minute, I'll get in front. Just filling in this wetter sand area. That. Now watch this trick. It's going to go fast and easy for creating a wet look by mopping out some color while it's drying to indicate vertical reflections. I'm going to have one more there. Okay. Okay, now on to step 4.